Okay, everyone, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Can we stand and say the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, Mr. Ingalls, can you do roll call, please?
Mrs. Blacka.
Here.
Mrs. Detweiler.
Here.
Mr. McCartney.
Present.
Mr. Vota.
Here.
Mrs. Walker.
Here.
Okay, next, can we move on to a moment for silent prayer and meditation, please? Thank you. 3.01, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the August 14th, 2023 regular board meeting, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. I'm sorry. Can I get a motion to approve the September 11th, 2023 agenda for the regular board meeting, please?
So moved. I'll second.
Roll call.
Okay, second. Mrs. Detweiler.
Yes.
Mr. McCartney.
Yes.
Mr. Vota.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Blacka.
Yes.
Okay, next, 3.01, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the August 14th, 2023 regular board meeting, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. McCartney.
Yes.
Mr. Vota.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Blacka.
Yes.
Mrs. Detweiler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, 4.01, excellence in action. Dr. Miller.
Thank you, Mr. McCartney. So this is our first Excellence in Action Award winner for the 23-24 school year. We would like to recognize Mrs. Julie Page this evening. Mrs. Page, are you with us?
You're still in trouble. You made my husband say he wanted to come to a board meeting.
I gave him the option.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to say a few things about you, and we're just going to put you through this for a little bit because
Okay.
there's quite a bit of outstanding things to talk about.
Okay. Okay.
For those of you that don't know this award, this is a colleague-to-colleague nomination. So these are Mrs. Page's classified, certified staff, the everyday working with her and what they think of her. So let me just talk about some of the roles that Mrs. Page has held. First grade teacher, sixth grade teacher, fourth grade teacher, former district literacy coach, dean of students, and current principal at Monroe. Julie served on the district leadership committee, literacy committee, tech committee, PD committee, grade card, science curriculum committee, math committee, and lead resident educator program. She's brought the Monroe staff and students together and made us a family and community and build up the morale. Mrs. Page cares for her staff and the students within the building. She wants what's best for all involved. She works tirelessly to keep her staff working together in all situations, always getting input from her staff before making decisions on school-wide issues. She exemplifies what it means to work together as a staff and school to provide the best learning environment for our students. Julie is an outstanding leader. She asks all employees' opinions on building decisions, makes decisions and asks questions quickly so it is helpful for all teachers to know what is going on. She is a wonderful communicator who always asks people how they are doing mentally in and out of the classroom. She creates a fun, creative, and safe work environment for staff and students. She has created a new house system for PBIS. She encourages our enthusiasm in our teams, which I think is going to bring Monroe students and staff closer together. I really enjoy working for her. She elevates student and staff relationships. Students and staff meet weekly in small groups to focus on team building and promoting positive relationships across all grade levels. She never gives up on her staff and students. She is always happy and greets all staff and students daily, even when she doesn't feel well. She covers for staff often when they need a break, even when she is so busy. She respects me as a teacher and the techniques I use to get results. She speaks to me as a peer and not down to me. Julie is always there for her staff. She is outstanding and caring, yet a strong leader. She exemplifies what it means to work together as a staff and school to provide the best learning environment for our students. She does nice things for us all throughout the school year. Honestly, I've never loved my job more than this one. She makes you feel like a friend, not just a coworker. So, Mr. Jester and I, our communications person, who's not here this evening, we get these nominations each month, and then we evaluate, and we select who the best candidate is for this award. After we selected Mrs. Page last week, it was so coincidental. I received this email from a parent and wanted to report something about Mrs. Page, and I thought, oh my goodness, right after we selected her for this award, now I have an upset parent, and I'm going to read this email.
Okay.
I just wanted to pass along praise for one of your administrators, Julie Page, and teacher Betha at Monroe Elementary. Last spring, I inquired about the possibility of a Spanish club at Monroe after my daughter expressed a desire to communicate better with some of her Spanish-speaking friends at school. Mrs. Page was immediately receptive to the idea. Fast forward to today, Spanish Club at Monroe begins October 3rd, led by our EL teacher. I appreciate Mrs. Page's response to this idea, keeping me in the loop through the planning process and taking into consideration the interests of her students. It means so much to know that as a parent, my ideas and my child's ideas are heard and responded to. So thank you.
That's here. I think they need to come up because they drive me every day. So
they can join you.
Yeah, they need to.
Let them do it. Yeah.
I'll just make them.
Normally we get the picture with the recipient, but I
they
think
can't take the award away now.
Yeah.
They
right?
can't. No. We know how much you love them. She's cringing right now. She's like, she loves us as much as
I don't want to steal their thunder.
Oh, see?
Jump, Liza, jump.
Okay. He said just to hold it down and take a bunch. So this is what I'm doing.
205. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, did you need a picture too? Are you good?
They're the ones that matter. It's all good.
Sorry, they are.
It's all good.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to 4.02, a special congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. McCarty. We have two students that scored outstanding results on the PSAT, and we wanted to recognize them this evening and bring them up for a photo opportunity. I don't think one of them is with us, but Emmerich Worthington, are you with us this evening?
Yes.
Go ahead and stand up so we can see him. Emmerich received the National African American Recognition Award for his outstanding achievement on this PSAT, and Elijah Nickel received the National Small and Rural Town Award. So, congratulations. Nice job. We're going to have you come up for a photo opportunity, okay? Emmerich.
awesome. Congratulations.
I'm gonna stand next to you because you have so much hair.
You think it's gonna rub off? All right. Oops, go ahead, Chris. Sorry, Chris. A little closer. There we go. That's good. I don't want to get in trouble for doing a bad job. You probably wouldn't tell me if I did. Oh, it's not gonna let me do that. Okay.
Sounds good. Hey, well, congratulations.
Okay, next, 4.03, I'd like to invite Mr. Rule for our high school athletics commendations.
First of all, thanks for asking us to be here and have the opportunity to recognize our athletes that achieved state level recognition. We got the opportunity to do this after the fall season and also the winter. The spring's a little bit tougher because the season ends and sometimes it's June or late June and everybody's finishing their seasons and gone for the summer and getting ready into vacations and different things like that. So it's nice to get an opportunity to bring these kids back and recognize them. However, obviously, it becomes tough for some of our kids that have moved on and gone to college or are already working and things like that. So we'll recognize as many as we can. First group is our softball players. So I'd like to ask for Coach McGrew and Maggie McCoy to come up for a second if they would. You can just come up here up front and we'll talk a little bit and then we can take some pictures. So obviously, yeah. Maggie, if you don't mind, are you ready to talk? It's funny we say that because Coach McGrew tells me the story when they went to the banquet and he didn't tell Maggie she had to talk and they got up there in front of everybody and broke news to her right there in front of everybody. Hey, you got to talk. So anyway, it's awesome to get the opportunity to recognize any of these kids. Obviously, softball had a great year as a team. I don't think they got to the game in the situation they wanted, and they've had so much success over the past years that being in that opportunity provides you the opportunity to get your kids recognition, right? Like our softball program is well thought of as far as the recognition and things that they do. That being said, Maggie was a freshman this year. Started, I want to say almost every game, Coach McGrew as a catcher or somewhere in the field, but was a catcher on the team. Received a lot of recognition as far as her play on the field. But if you get to know Maggie a little bit, just a great kid, great student, just a well-rounded person. But at the end of the year, she was the offensive team MVP. She was Rookie of the Year. As a catcher, she hit .452 this year. She had 25 RBIs. She earned honorable mention awards for the CBC. She was first team All-Central District, and then she's here tonight because at the end of it all, she was honorable mention All-Ohio, which is a great honor for anybody to be able to be selected All-Ohio. So please help me congratulate not just Maggie, but also Coach McGrew being a part of this, but Maggie McCoy for All-Ohio recognition.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sure.
We're going to get around to this.
Whatever we do. All right, family photo. Good job.
Next up, we've got Coach Kyle and three of our baseball guys. Obviously, there's only one here. So I'll talk a little bit about the two that aren't here first, and then we'll talk about Ashton third. But first of all, Hank Shoemaker had a great year this year as a senior. He's a four-year letterman, so he's been a part of the program a long time. Had a lot of success throughout his career. He's obviously graduated, and at this point, he's working and said, I can't get off work early enough to get there at this time. But Hank had a great year. He received the Pioneer Award for the team. He was also first team All-Central Buckeye Conference. He was second team All-Metro, first team All-Central District, and then also first team All-Ohio. So congratulations to Hank Shoemaker on that recognition. Our other baseball player that's a senior is currently in college. He's at OU and not able to be here, but Andrew Harp also was a senior this year. He was a 2-year letterman. Andrew was first team All-CBC. He was second team All-Metro, first team All Central District, and then second team All Ohio. So again, congratulations to Andrew. And then lastly, we have Ashton Martin here. Ashton was a sophomore this year, so obviously has 2 years still to come. That said, he had an incredible season as a sophomore. So Ashton is a middle infielder, and then in addition to being a middle infielder, he's also a pitcher and was kind of our ace this year on the mound. Just some quick numbers. He hit .422. He led the team ERA with a 0.39 ERA. He was 8-0 on the year on the mound. You may or may not already know this, but he's already verbal and committed to Ohio State. So that's where he'll be attending after 2 more years of high school. He was Central Buckeye Conference Player of the Year. He was first team All-Metro. He was Central District Player of the Year. And then he was first team All-Ohio. So again, just an incredible season for him. Coach Kyle is here with us also tonight. And obviously, in addition to these guys, as a coach, Coach Kyle received some recognition as well. So some of these guys got to play in the All-Ohio game. So also with playing in the All-Ohio game, one of the things that he got to do was coach those kids in the All-Ohio game, which is kind of a special moment. Anytime you have kids be able to receive that recognition, it's great. But then when you can be there with them, it's cool to be there and be a part of it. And obviously, getting to do that means that he was named Central District Coach of the Year, and also was inducted into the Central District Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame. So to Coach Kyle and to our guys, an incredible year. I know, again, just like we were saying with softball, it never ends the way you want it to, right? Unless you win the last one. But a great program. These young men have had an incredible season, and just want to recognize them and say congratulations on being named All-Ohio.
That's a heck of an ERA. It's a heck of an ERA. Yes. Congratulations.
Our next group is our track and field team members. First of all, I want to talk about our girls track and field team member, Liza Strite. She is not able to be here tonight. She's currently at Ohio University, and she's running there. So just getting to talk to her parents and whatnot a little bit here recently. And Mom's able to be here with us tonight. She's getting some action and getting involved as a freshman and getting to run, which is really cool. I think going in, it's always that unknown of what kind of impact will I make or how much will I get to participate. So she is getting to run at OU, which is a huge accomplishment, and in the lineup right now for our school district. That being said, looking back at her senior year, she was in a lot of different situations. I mean, she ran in the 32, she ran in the 16, she subbed in the 4x8 when they needed her. I mean, she just was a kid that was kind of tough and ran in any races that they needed her to. But her most notable accomplishment in the 3,200 meter race, she finished as the CBC champion. She was also the district champion in that race. In the regional meet, she finished third, and in the state meet, she finished 16th. And what's, I think, really most important to note with that is that was also in Division I. So it was our girls track team's first time competing in Division I, and so for her to make it there in the 32 and finish 16th is just an incredible accomplishment. So I'd like to say congratulations and give her a round of applause before I move on to So also our boys track team members with us tonight, we've got Brady Tremaine, Luke Good, Mark Good, and then I think Matt Perkey's, yep, okay. I was going to say, I think his mom is here. He's not able to be here as well. He's currently in Troy, right, with Hobart. So again, a senior that was on the track team and also on this relay team that received a lot of awards. So first of all, I'll talk about these four, and then we'll kind of break it down into two of them a little bit. But so these four young men ran in the 4x800 meter relay. I'm sure if you followed anything, you got to see some of their accomplishments throughout the year, but had an incredible season. If you go back throughout the year and look at all the individual meets, there's a lot of champions along the individual meets. But in the postseason, they were the CBC champions in the 4x8. They were the district champions in the 4x8. In the regional meet, they finished 3rd, and then in the state meet, got on the podium and finished 7th. So an incredible accomplishment for these young men and also for Matt, and wish he could be here with them tonight. But again, congratulations to these guys for that. So individually, so Luke was a junior this year, and again, all these guys are obviously back again this year. But Luke, as a junior this year, was also in the state as an individual. He was in the 800-meter run, and he was the CBC champion in the 800-meter run. He was the district champion in the 800. He finished 3rd in the regional meet and then made the podium and was 6th in the state. So again, congratulations to Luke. And then, you want me to go ahead? And then finally, Brady also had an incredible year as well as an individual. He ran in the 32, and going through the grind of running the 32, running the 16, running the relay, when you add it up, it's a lot of miles. But Brady ran in the 3,200-meter run, and he was the CBC champion. He was the district champion. In the regional meet, he was 3rd, and then in the state meet, he finished 17th. Coach Krebs isn't here with us tonight because he's got practice with the other kids that are right now running with cross country. So wish he could be here to congratulate him as well. But to you guys, from myself and the school district, just want to say congratulations on receiving all state honors. Okay, our last group to recognize this evening is our lacrosse boys. I don't think either one of them are here. Can Ms. Davis here? No. Okay. I'm just going to talk just quickly about our lacrosse guys and be able to recognize them and give them a round of applause. First of all, Mason Curtis was a sophomore last year. He's currently involved in football right now, so he's out on the field at practice. But Mason had a great year as a sophomore. And our lacrosse team, if you get an opportunity to watch them and see them play, they have improved so much. Their numbers have grown. In addition to that, they're competing really well in the postseason. But these two young men, and for them to receive recognition and awards, we're not in a conference in lacrosse. So it becomes even tougher sometimes to receive that recognition because you can't get all league to propel you into region or district or state or whatnot. But Mason Curtis, as a sophomore, was first team all-region short stick defenseman. So each position kind of has like in baseball or softball where you've got catcher, first base, second base, whatnot, have different categories. And then he also was honorable mention All-Ohio in that same position. And then Mason Walford, and he's currently playing at Canisius, which is Division I lacrosse in Buffalo. So an incredible year by him. But he was first team all-region as a TAC and third team All-Ohio as a TAC. So again, just want to say congratulations to those two guys and also Coach Davis on an incredible year with our boys lacrosse.
Great. Do we know if we had any additional public participation?
Did anyone sign up to speak this evening? Mr. Jesser's not here.
I can see anyone who walked in.
Congratulations, all the athletes that came tonight.
Good job, guys.
Congrats. Dylan?
Just let them mosey out real quick.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah.
People in the back can sit down.
Yeah. Okay. 6.01, can I get a motion to approve the financial reports for August 23 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
All right, so the second, or two.
Chris was louder.
So just really quickly, I want to point out is for those who are still in attendance here, I have updated the Treasurer website to have more information and more community-friendly information as well. I know one major topic that's going on is that all 3 counties that Jonathan Alder is in is either going through evaluation update or reappraisal. So I do have a document out there that helps explain the process and breaks it down in layman's terms of what's happening and why, and potential impact. I know that's going to be a hot topic going forward, but I want to invite everyone to take a look at the revamped website, and it'll be updated as we go along as new information is available, such as new 5-year forecasts, audited financial statements, as soon as they're available, as well as our monthly financial reports. They'll be out there for viewing as well. So that's it.
Thank
Great.
you for that, Mark. I appreciate that easy, accessible information.
Do you happen to know the average of what Alder's expected to, the valuation increase is supposed to be?
No, I know that we have a sliver in Franklin County that's 50-some-odd%. Madison County is they still haven't announced yet. Union County, they had a 19% from last year. So that's being collected this year.
Okay.
Speaking of Union County, we did not receive our second half real estate settlement until this month, September. Typically we get those in August, so there's a bit of delay, I think partly due to that update that they went through. But we're getting that money flowing in now.
Okay, great. Roll call, please.
Mr. Vota,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mrs. Blacka,
Yes.
Mrs. Detweiler,
Yes.
Mr. McCartney.
Yes. Motion carries. 6.02, can I get a motion to approve the amended certificate of estimated resources and permanent appropriations for fiscal year 23 through 24?
So moved. I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. McCartney,
Yes.
Mrs. Blacka,
Yes.
Mrs. Detweiler,
Yes.
Mr. Vota,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. 6.03, can I get a motion to approve the donations as presented?
So moved.
Second.
And that was $25 from Dr. Misty Swanger to the AWS room, $200 from an anonymous donor to Plain City Elementary overdue lunch accounts, and $1,790 from Smiles to Love Orthodontics for 6th grade t-shirts.
Great.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. McCartney,
Yes.
Mrs. Detweiler,
Yes.
Mrs. Blacka,
Yes.
Mr. Vota.
Yes.
Motion carries. 7.01, tolls report. You all should have received a tolls report in your email, but a couple things to note. There are 601 students enrolled as level 1, which is the largest ever. I did not get the total students, but it's by far the largest. It's well over 1,000, and so we hit the goal that we wanted last year, so that's pretty exciting. There are currently 86 students from Alder that are attending tolls on the main campus, and if you remember back a couple months ago, I told you that we had submitted for a grant for the $200 million that was in the governor's budget. The grant that was officially submitted was $15.5 million, and that would be to add on 4 additional high bay labs, and so they're expected to announce disbursement of those funds in the next few weeks.
Really? Good.
So fingers crossed, hopefully we
Good luck.
get some of that money. Yep. Okay. Any questions about tolls? Good.
How many senior-only programs are there? I saw there were 4 new ones.
There's 4 total. Yeah, so this is the first year for senior only.
Oh, wasn't there a welding one last year? That Zach did? I thought he
There
was
might have
There
been.
was.
Was there? Okay.
So are they not doing welding again? Or
Uh,
are they?
actually, I don't know all of the
Okay.
programs, but
That's fine.
there might be 5, but there's only a few senior only programs.
Okay.
So that's a relatively new thing.
Thanks.
Okay, 7.02, Dr. Miller.
Thank you. Well, it's been an outstanding start to the school year. It's hard to believe that today was the start of our 5th week in the 23-24 school year. When I walk through the buildings, and I've had more time this year than I did last year to walk through see the teachers, talk to the principals. It's just been it's been inspiring to see the work that the teachers are putting in, all of the staff, all the employees, and seeing how the students are responding. So I'm just really impressed so far the first 4.5 weeks. Preliminary state report card data is out. We're not going to post anything yet because it's still preliminary. It's raw data. Our teaching and learning team has been looking at this and working with principals as we're forming our goals for this school year. But the promising thing is that the data is indicating growth across the district compared to the previous year. So Mrs. Quick and I will be sharing more of that with the school board here in the next month, but it's very promising to see the growth over the past year. I wanted to thank a young man by the name of Nicholas Zanizer, and then one of our own students, Ethan Swank, with Boy Scout Troop 117 for their time and effort cleaning up the courtyard at Canaan as an Eagle Scout project approved by Mr. Walter. I also wanted to thank Athletic Director Scott Rule for coming in, arranging and coordinating this night. He does a great job knowing exactly where all the student athletes are coming in and inviting them in, bring the parents in, and just recognizing those athletes. I wanted to also congratulate the spring athletes for their outstanding work. It is a goal of mine to recognize them sooner than September moving forward. So they kind of have the short end of the stick, finishing their seasons right at the end of the school year, when is the best time to get them in summer or right when school starts. So I'll continue to look at that best month to recognize those students. Wanted to congratulate Julie again. Just what an honor, and then just to see your team and your school family come out and support you, that just speaks volumes. So congratulations, very deserving of this recognition. That's all for my report.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Miller. Okay, next we are going to move on to consent agenda. So that'll be 8.01, 8.02, and 8.03. Can I get a motion to approve the employment and personnel consent items as presented?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Vota,
Yes.
Mr. McCartney,
Yes.
Mrs. Detweiler,
Yes.
Mrs. Blacka.
Yes.
Motion carries. 9.01, can I get a motion to approve the change of time for the November 13th, 2023 board meeting to 6:30, please?
So moved.
Second.
And as a reminder, that's to allow for the delegate at the annual business meeting to be able to attend both meetings. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Detweiler,
Yes.
Mrs. Blacka,
Yes.
Mr. McCartney,
Yes.
Mr. Vota,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes. I
Motion.
just wanted to say thank you to you and Steve for being willing to attend the
Capital
meetings on behalf of
conference.
the board. Yeah, the
Sure.
conference on behalf of the board.
Yep, thank you. Okay, 9.02, can I get a motion to approve the agreement and MOU between Superintendent Jonathan Orr Local Schools and JAEA for the Supplemental Program Advisory Committee?
I'll move it to put it on the agenda. So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, discussion.
I have a question. So, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble getting to it. Okay, sorry. So this MOU is setting up a committee to establish the specials, job descriptions.
Supplemental contracts, their job descriptions, the work scope, the amount of students, and compensation.
Okay, so we didn't have any particular committee before this, right?
Not that I'm aware of, and this came about by probably me asking a lot of questions last year about how are supplementals created, developed, what's the process, and I learned that it had changed. There's just a couple different procedures that took place and changes over the last several years. So there was a goal for this committee. The goal was a couple things. improve the current practices and procedures that are in place, because it didn't really seem like there were procedures in place. So it was that goal to have it in writing, and then to, I guess, have a procedure in place in a committee, in a group, to oversee the current supplementals that are in place. Are we still using them? What is the work scope? How many students are involved? Is the compensation right? There were some inconsistencies across the board, so this committee would be looking at those for a full review.
Okay, and just so everybody else knows what we're talking about, the supplementals are like advisors of clubs and coaches.
Anything outside of the teachers or any staff members' regular responsibilities.
Okay. In the membership, it has 8 potential members, 4 of whom would be appointed by the superintendent, which of those 4 could include district administrators or board members. And then 4 members would be appointed by the JAEA president and shall be association members. Is there a reason why it's not bargaining unit members?
I actually asked that same question, and it was confirmed by JAEA leadership that in their association bylaws, anyone on that committee must be an association member.
Even though the committee didn't exist before?
Creating a committee, or any committee, that must be association members.
Okay, so we're talking about the difference between union members and non-union members. But we don't have a committee right now. We're setting up a committee. And if we set up a committee through JAEA, then any of their appointees have to be association members pursuant to the collective bargaining agreement. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it doesn't, your appointees are limited to district administrators or board members.
Correct.
Okay. So, bargaining unit members who are not members of the union are not represented in this committee.
Currently, that's how it's written.
Okay.
A teacher or an employee, to clarify, teacher or employee can obviously hold a supplemental contract but not have a voice at the table currently, the way it reads, for how the committee works and how the procedures roll out.
Under this MOU.
Correct.
I would be interested in looking at potentially enlarging this committee to add the allowance of a non-bargaining unit or a non-union member to be a part of it. Right now, it's kind of foreclosed because the way that the MOU is written, it says that the superintendent can only appoint district administrators or board members, and non-union members are also eligible to hold these positions. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Is the language able to be revised for who the superintendent is able to appoint?
Right.
I didn't catch that, sorry.
Is the language able to be revised for who you're able to appoint to the committee?
I would say, this would be my proposal, is to postpone this because we can't, or whatever is voted on tonight, it's the language of the MOU now. So if we want to go back and look at reworking the MOU, then I would propose postponing this agenda item, bring it back in October with any of your questions answered.
So has the MOU, as it's written, been approved by the union
Correct.
leadership?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So if we couldn't make changes tonight.
Correct. And is it okay if I
Yeah, please.
speak to this a little bit more? So one of the things to take into consideration is currently the supplemental contracts are part of the JAEA negotiated agreement. And so because they are part of the agreement, it has to fall, like our bylaws and state bylaws say that the committee membership has to fall to people who are members. And so that's, Dr. Miller and I talked about this today. And, so we're sort of, our hands are tied. The language, if we look at any language changes, we would have to take that back to JEA, get another vote out there. And I think the big concern from our end is, some of these are fall supplemental contracts, right? People are doing the work right now and wanting to know what the outcome is, right? And I think that's a concern that we have, is if we're delaying this further, then we could be potentially impacting fall and then also potentially the start of winter sports, right? Like there's different timelines that are.
So can you help us understand if it's currently part of, if supplemental contracts are currently part of the collective bargaining agreement, how is it handled currently? Because
Historically, it has been one of those items at the negotiations table where, it's at the very end of the contract is where it falls, and it becomes one of those like, we'll have this conversation later. And that has been the case for several negotiations, and so finally we were like, okay, like we have to put a procedure in place for this, because there hasn't, as Dr. Miller said, there hasn't been clear guidelines, there's been different things done over the years, and so this really came out of negotiations last year and saying like, this is something our membership has asked for years, of like, how do I get a new supplement? Like I wanna have a club and I wanna be able to like offer that to students. How do I do that? There hasn't been a process for that, and this allows for that. Or, I haven't been able to, I've grown this club from 10 people to 140. That's a big difference in workload, right? And so the answer has always been given to bargaining unit members of like, well, it'll get talked about at negotiations, and then negotiations comes around and it never gets talked about. And so that's kind of how we have ended up in this loop.
but every club or every supplemental is not spelled out in the collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah,
It is.
Yes.
they should be.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
each
that's
new one
secret.
requires an MOU to update it outside of the regular contract period.
Wow.
So there are some that don't get removed at times too, because they go on and they're still in the agreement. Yeah, so I agree there's gotta be some cleanup, because in the past it's kind of been, I'll go to your building principal and work with them to get on the supplemental. At least that was my understanding of how things were supposed to work before.
So if the school board is in agreement that something needs to be done to tighten up the procedures, but we want to maybe do a little bit more fine tuning, asking a few more questions on the MOU, I can bring it back to you in October.
I definitely appreciate that this is getting addressed, for sure. But I feel like if we're gonna do it, one more month isn't gonna make or break it, since it hasn't existed until now. We wanna
Would
do
it
it
keep any,
right.
if we tabled this, would it keep anybody from getting paid for this year for their supplemental at this point? Or?
I think, so the work of the committee can't officially begin until it's approved.
Sure.
That's right.
Right,
That's right.
and so, and I believe, I don't have these dates, but I know that like, there's a November date for fall supplementals. And so just knowing the turnaround time that's needed for payroll and things like that, I am concerned for the fall supplementals, certainly.
Yeah, but they were getting
they would
paid
still get
before
paid.
without this MOU, without the committee.
Right.
Is it fall? Is it November for next year's fall?
I think the understanding was that it would be for this year.
I mean, I still have some concerns. It would be my desire to table it and have those concerns addressed, have a conversation, and then come back.
I realize this is
Next month.
I mean, lots of times on policies, we do a first reading and a second reading. I know this isn't really a policy, but it seems like it's almost a policy. It's a definite change.
Well, it's a big deal for a lot of teachers and a lot of people in the district, the supplementals and what they're doing and how they're participating, and we want to make sure that we really get it right, and we're serving everybody in the district as best as we can.
it's certainly not gonna keep anyone that's under a supplemental from getting paid, but what it could do if we improve it, if we wanted the MOU to read that once it's settled and board approved, that if there's any change in the pay, it could be for the 23-24 school year. It could be retroactive if we wanted to do that route.
I'd be willing to
Yeah.
approve that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we table?
Well, this wouldn't be a table. I was just Googling parliamentary procedure.
Okay.
This is not a table, so I would need a motion to postpone consideration of agenda item 9.02.
I would like to make a motion to postpone consideration of item agenda 9.02.
I
Second.
will second that.
Roll call.
Mrs. Blackup.
Yes.
Mrs. Detweiler.
Yes.
Mr. McCartney.
Yes.
Mr. Vota.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
Okay, so this is postponed until next meeting.
Awesome. I forgot that you have to specify until the next meeting. We're going to postpone until the next meeting. Thank you, sir.
If you want to
Mark
postpone it.
didn't forget.
And
Mark
then
knew
we'll
it.
have to
Mark.
do another vote if you want to postpone it to November.
Do we have, so between now and then, can we get clarity on,
Yes.
do we add it to the agenda or do we,
It would have to be old business, essentially.
it would be old business? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. 9.03, can I get a motion to approve the agreement between Jonathan Alder Local School Board of Education and the Madison County's Sheriff's Office, please?
So moved.
I would like to comment on this and clarify, Mr. McCartney. I know that Mrs. Detweiler and I believe Mr. McCartney asked me on one of the sections in this agreement. In your board docs, there's a new agreement language for section 7, improved language only. So you have the new agreement, and what it did was the question and concern that Madison County Sheriff could pull the SRO at any time for whatever he needed. I talked to Sheriff Sweeney about that today, and we changed some of the language so it reads, however, no deputy assigned to Jonathan Alder will leave for an emergency if said emergency could impact the safety and security of our Jonathan Alder students, and it has to be approval of both the sheriff and the superintendent.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's a great revision. Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? Did you get
I need to
Steve's
get a
second? Steve's second.
Okay, Mr. Votel second. Okay, got it.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Blackup.
Yes.
Mr. Votel.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
Mr. McCartney.
Yes.
Mrs. Detweiler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Our next regular board meeting will be Monday, October 9th, and that will be at Plain City Elementary at 5 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. McCartney.
Yes.
Mrs. Detweiler.
Yes.
Mrs. Blackup.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes.
Mr. Votel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you next month.